We don't have to eat like slaves anymore because we're not slaves. If you cannot control what you eat, then you cannot control what you feel. Eat your largest meals in the middle of the day, not the end of the day.
What part the homeostasis plays, you're on your way to healing yourself. The homeostasis is the internal environment where your body is at its ultimate functionality for healing. Just keep in mind that everything that is happening to you is happening for you.
Hello and happy Saturday, everyone. Thank you all so much for joining us here today. You are in the Mind of Nature, hosted by Dr. Zarif, nutritionist. I am Carolyn, and today's topic is how poor diet affects your medical condition. Thank you all so much for being here today. If you have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It is Dr. Farid Zarif. We are streaming live right now on Facebook. We're on YouTube and we are on Instagram. Thank you all so much for joining us here. And if you have not already, please share the live, share it out so we can have others be part of this conversation. You know that poor diet is something that a lot of us deal with, and we need to just aware of the effects that it has on our body and how we can do better. That's what we're here for, to learn and to get this information. And I know, like you know, Dr. Zarif is going to bring the information to us. So, Dr. Zarif, go ahead and join me here on stage so we can get started here on this here Saturday morning. Hello.
Hello, peace, peace, peace. It's really good to see you. How are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Of course. You only have us a few, it's like better and great. I think that's somewhere. Those are your two choices: better and great somewhere. So,
well, that's great.
Yeah, I'm excited, Carolyn, because we're going to really talk about something that's going to really help a lot of people today and get a better understanding of nutrition. And as we get a better understanding of nutrition, we can excel. We can do better. We can make better decisions. You know, we have a saying that, we live the consequences of our decisions. So that can be healthy or it can be unhealthy.
Absolutely.
But if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right.
You're correct.
So
right.
We want to work with the mind. We want to work with, the things that are important to you, and being able to do those things in life, to be able to choose a lifestyle that supports you, not hurts you. And yes. Unfortunately, we've been in that situation where we continue to let our decisions hurt us. Mm-hmm. We come in even with the new year, we drink ourselves, overdrink, we celebrate the, let's say, Veterans Day or Labor Day. We overeat ourselves. Mm-hmm. We you know what I mean is we have too much food there. We glutton. Whenever there's a celebration or it's eating involved. Even when a person passes away, it's like, okay, where are we going to eat? We got to work out this problem. Well, let's go and break bread. All of those things, and doesn't mean that everything is negative, Care, but it does mean that we got some work to do. So I'm gonna, Care, let you say hello to the folks, and I'll look at the folks here. We have folks on Instagram and we have folks on Facebook
and YouTube. Yes.
Beautiful.
So here I see here my dad Allison saying good morning, Dad. Love you so much. Thank you for joining us here this morning. My Leah is here saying Grand Rising.
Oh, he's another heart. Leah.
Thank you so much for joining us. Add Warrior for Christ on Instagram is tuning in. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate. Hard to stay up here.
Right.
I love everybody.
Thank you all so much for joining us. As I said earlier, please share the live out so we can have others be a part of the conversation and give us likes and just do those social media things that we need to do to get people over here so they can learn about Dr. Zarif, so they can be a part of the conversation and be a Zarifian, as we call
Oh,
our crew. Yes, the Zarifian. So can't wait to get this information, Dr. Zarif.
thank you so much, Care. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, what we're talking about is poor diet, and everybody, thank you so much again. I want to say that I'm very, very proud of the individuals that have really made a difference. Those individuals that are making those little steps, but they are making some changes there, and we're going to talk about that. This time will go by fast for me because this is got to be my favorite subject. I'd love to talk about the equilibrium or the balance and how we eat, how we prepare foods, what time we eat it, how much we eat it. All of that makes a big difference. See, the human body itself is complex. And when we take a complex body and we have been taught that it operates just like a basic robot, we're not going to get too far because we don't understand the complexities and we don't understand the power of our body to heal and to thrive, not struggle. That's not what it's used for. So as we look at where we live, all of us living in America, we have the poor food consumption in America is a choice. But poor food choices in third world countries is a decision to live or die. So there's a big difference. In America, people aren't dying of starvation. That's very, very rare. And those are probably some criminal situations, but there are very poor groups in America. There's still people that don't even have running fresh water. And right here in California, for those of you that are here with me in California. But when it comes down to food choices, it might be a choice between starvation. Starvation is when you're in struggle mode. And then if it's the consumption of food, if you have a choice, you're doing pretty good. What I want Italian, I think I want African, and what I want, you have those choices. The difference between nourishment and malnutrition: nourishment has a lower risk of infection, disease, and illness, including fatalities. So whenever you've chosen a way to eat, this is why I don't get into conversation with people about if they have a reasonable question. I'll be glad to entertain it. But when people are telling me things like, I eat what I want to eat. My grandfather, he ate what he wanted to eat, and he was 87 when he died, and so on. But there is a thing, it's called biochemical individuality, and that biochemical individuality makes each one of us different than the other. So each one of us, we have a different lab in our body. There are some things that we can speak to in generalizations, but most of these things most of the things are generalizations, by the way. But the others, things that we speak of in like disease and specificity or functionality, which is the same thing as a physiology, then we have to take a breath, step away for a minute, and make choices that can really help our lives to be the optimal experience. Now, poor diet also includes the alignment and the harmonization our circadian rhythms of our circadian rhythm. So we have to align that with what though? So I'm going to talk about the heart and the brain. We're going to talk about the heart and the brain and why is it important for them to be in harmony. Most of us don't even think about, well, why have to, don't we have an autonomic nervous system that takes care of all of that? Why I have to think about that? Well, because those things that you have to do are not a part of the autonomic system. Now, you are probably usually working from the sympathetic nervous system, and that means fight or flight, anxiety, depression, So we want to make a better choice than we've been making in the past. If you rise at 6 a.m. within the first hour, you should be arising to eat and have a portion that best complements your circadian rhythms. So I put 6 a.m. there because 6 a.m. is the ideal time that people get up. And this is also the time that you can synchronize yourself with the sun, the rising of the sun. Now, the things that are involved here is I said the portion that best complement your circadian rhythms. But you should think of circadian rhythms, not just sleep and awake, but things like urinating, defecating, brain function, and the heartbeats per minute. All of those things are important. Now, we know that your body is it's just wonderful, because the way that it works, a lot of times you say, how in the world did I get out of that? Well, in 1938, the University of Chicago sleep researchers, Nathaniel Clayton, which was a PhD, and Bruce Richardson, experimenting on themselves, became first to demonstrate that humans have an internal circadian rhythm. For 6 weeks, they live in Kentucky's Mammoth Cave in complete darkness at all times. Now, ideally, as I said, between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m., this is the ideal time to wake up. Generally, waking up at 6 to 8 a.m. is considered ideal because it aligns with our natural sleep-wake cycles. This is really important because some people they take sleep for granted. They take sleep for granted. And when you take sleep for granted, what happens is you negate it. And when you negate it, there are consequences for that. This time frame allows exposure to sunlight, and we should be getting that every day, thereby regulating your sleep patterns and producing the sleep hormone melatonin. And this is why it's so important. As you find out more, you're going to hear more about melatonin, because it's not just to get you to sleep. Watch when you find out what are some of the wonderful benefits of being asleep. Now, at Harvard School of, that's a typo there. Here, just roll with me. Here, this is Harvard Medical School. I just think that's funny, talking about one of the best known established educational schools, and we got shul. But that's all right. It's all right. It's beautiful. As we move forward, we want to look at what Harvard Medical School discovered back in the summer of 2028. That's about 6 years ago, in a special laboratory. About 25 volunteers have each spent a month in just windowless, soundproof space and free from external cues. So there was no alarms, no light, no any cues that could give them an idea of what time of the day it was. And they lived in total darkness. This is the experiment. This is what people do when they want to show evidence of what they're saying. Now, I know that you're used to hearing people speak about different things, but guess what? When they speak about these different things, especially when it comes to nutritional science, many of the times it does not come with any proof. Proof is the evidence that what you're saying is accurate. Now, they've back to these 25 volunteers. They lived on a 28-hour cycles at the Brigham and Women's Hospital, BWH, with their eating and sleeping shifted. Their eating and sleeping shifted 4 hours later every day. So every day they kept losing hours. They would shift. And it seems like the researchers then they would test their glucose and their insulin and other levels, your different blood levels, like we talk about the CBC, after they ate their controlled meals. Now, the scientists conducting this multi-year study want to know how prolonged changes to circadian rhythms, like the internal processes that follow a roughly 24-hour cycle, may affect the metabolism and body weight in people who unconventionally sleep-wake cycle schedules. And that can be like nurses, for instance, And I'm sure that a nurse, Shirley, can tell you many stories about this one. Staying up, working in the night hours. Security guards are another one for those people that are in security. Working those night shifts can be deleterious. And pilots also have some really very strenuous schedules because they fly on different shifts. We know that the night shift workers are much more prone to gain weight and develop disorders like diabetes. And this was also stated by the co-leader of the BWH neuroscience. Her name is Jeanne Duffy. She's a MBA and a PhD associated professor of medicine at Harvard Medical School. So if you hear what you hear today, you say, no, I'm not really with that. I don't believe that. Or you can call for yourself and find out this isn't like what was said years ago. This is accurate as of today. Next, we talk about like some of the things that when it comes to metabolism, for instance, along with metabolism and sleep patterns, the circadian rhythm influences many important functions, including your heart rate, your blood pressure, your body temperature, your hormone levels, your urine production. Circadian rhythm disruptions and the lack of sleep have been associated with serious problems ranging from cancer to obesity to depression. So it's no joke. You have to get your sleep. If you find yourself fighting against it, it's just because you're not used to it yet. But our master biological clock, based on in the brain's hypothalamus, is the hypothalamus. And we're talking about brain. I'll give you a picture later on so that you can actually see this. But the hypothalamus is a cluster of about 20,000 nerve cells, and it is called the suprachiasmatic nucleus because they sit above the optic chiasm, and these cells get input from our eyes, and they send out signals about the time of day. So in other words, like when we wake up and we see the light, or we see the sun, or we see darkness, these are cues that constantly that we're getting every day. And this is when we feel like, it's time to get up. Did you ever think about that? And see, why would we be sleeping a quarter of our lives? Why would we be sleeping a quarter of our lives if it's not important? The evening daily routines, such as reading our smartphones before going to bed, can interfere with circadian rhythms. So this is important. The blue light that is involved in our maybe the monitor of our computers, some of the light that comes from your cell phone, the light that comes from maybe a machine that you're using, looking right into like a little notepad or equipment of that nature. It can interfere with your circadian rhythms. Now, in recent studies, for example, Duffy and her HMS colleagues, they found that repeated evening use of light emitting tablet suppresses the release of the sleep promoting hormone melatonin. So it interrupts it. See, it says suppress. So when I say suppress, I mean it doesn't allow it to happen. It holds it back. So then that's when we have problems with the sleep promoting hormone melatonin. We have problems with getting to sleep and being sleepy at all. And this delays the bedtime and reduction alertness the next morning. So the next morning is like a hangover. And when you get up and, don't leave me alone. That's why people sometimes are cantankerous when they get up in the morning, because it's like, you know what? I'm just, don't bother me. I'm just woke up. And people feel that that is a reason to be cantankerous. Whereas you have some people that wake up and they're the sweetest things ever. And you're like, wow, I love you when you wake up. You know, it's really wonderful. Now, our innate cycle is not exactly 24 hours. So our biological clocks must reset daily and to sync with the Earth's rotation. Now, remember, keep in mind what I'm talking about right now. The innate cycle is not that innate cycle, biological cycle that we all have in us. It must be reset on a daily basis to sync with the Earth's rotation. Okay, so let's go ahead. The thing about what I just read there, it gives you an idea that the human body is connected to all of that in the cosmos. Everything that is in the cosmos is in you, human, woman, man, female, male, other. We are a part of a bigger picture. So when we eat, I know we take that for granted. And I know we turn people off when we talk about eating correctly to be as healthy as you can. But guess what? When you do that, you have the opportunity to feel excellently. So when you don't do that, the various cardiovascular functions, including endothelial function, thrombus formation, blood pressure, and heart rate, are regulated by the circadian clock. Disruption of 24-hour rhythms leads to cardiovascular disease, including heart failure, myocardial infarction, and arrhythmias. Now, I want you to hear that so you will understand that whenever you get these interruptions, like if you're in a situation where you can't sleep, you sleep in a couple of hours and then somebody wakes you up. I personally am very sensitive to that, because when I'm interrupted or my sleep is interrupted, you know, that I can tell the next day. It's very clear to me that I didn't get enough rest. And I have to go through, I have to take that next day. If I don't take that next day to make up for the way that I feel, then I would find myself feeling even worse. So, and then I don't think clearly. I move very slowly. I don't have an appetite. It's just, oh man, it's imbalanced. Circadian rhythms is the brain's 24-hour internal clock that regulates sleepiness and alertness by responding to the environmental light changes. Circadian rhythms affects many aspects of cognitive function, especially those needed for effort-intensive cognitive tests. So this is the effort intensive cognitive test, are those challenges that we can do artificially or some that we might have biologically as a task or a challenge. Now, these include like working memory, your tests, your task switching, inhibitory control, and psychomotor vigilance. The circadian rhythms also control memory consolidation. It also controls the timing of the hormone secretion and body healing. Now that's really important because that right there is the proof. I'll go back here. This is the proof that our body, we need to rest in order to heal. So whatever you're going through, whatever's difficult to you, whatever you're saying, oh man, I wish I didn't have this, or this is really messing me up, or any of that. If you want to heal and you really want your body to do better, keep in mind that your circadian rhythms affect many aspects of your cognitive function. So your sleep and your cognitive function are connected. When you get enough sleep, men get up to 8 hours, women can get a little less and get by with it, 6 to 7 hours. That's just the way that we're created. Now, when it comes to the lifestyle habits that can disrupt the circadian rhythm, these would be on top of your list, or should be. One is the chronic caffeine use. Chronic caffeine use would be over 3 cups of caffeine, or coffee, or tea with caffeine. You can find these that have no caffeine in it, and you can enjoy the drink. But some people, they want to stay up high on caffeine all day, and they don't want it to change. And then later on, they find out that they have some other physical challenges. Alcohol use, the same thing. Illegal drug use, and the illicit drugs that we hear about so much today. As a matter of fact, it's a pandemic. So you have meth, and you have fentanyl, you have heroin, crack. Do I need to say more? It's really, really out of control. It's out of control. But see, people, everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants to feel good. I don't want to work. I just want to feel good. If I do work, let me do this little bit. I don't want to do too much work because I need time to feel good. I just want to feel good. Just let me feel good. So, to go on with some of the lifestyle habits that can disrupt your circadian rhythm are a lack of exposure to natural light during the day, and the lack of outside. You want to get healthier, get outside. Some people they leave the home and they're right into the AC in their car. They leave the AC in their car and go into the AC of the mall. They leave the AC of the mall and they get back into the AC car. You see, and they don't give themselves time. There are beaches, there are parks, and of course you want to be safe. I know we got a lot of challenges here, but this is why I'm going over this, so that you'll be ahead of these situations that seem to be not doable. The other things that may be interrupting with your circadian rhythm, unhealthy sleep habits, such as regularly staying up late and being exposed to artificial light at night. So if you are up, and I know in my home, there's security lights at night, the security lights automatically come on. And if I look into them, of course, they will interrupt, or could interrupt, my circadian rhythm. And if I should get up and say, oh yeah, I forgot, let me go ahead and check my email. And I get on and I start checking my email, guess what happens? I'm awake now. I'm writing people back, and I'm not sleepy anymore. because when you get up, that's why I do my best. If I have to get up for anything other than those things, I do everything in my power to avoid that light when I am staying up late. And just recently, I have changed a lot of that because I stay up long hours uh, reading and long hours studying different studies, and it's long. Sometimes if I'm working with a certain medical group, it even is in greater challenges as we look for the best thing or best treatment for the patients we're working with. Now, the nutrition and solutions, we've been talking about that pretty much. Now, the what are some of the nutritional problems, and how can they affect you? Well, a variety of medical problems can affect your appetite, your illness, medicines. Your illness and medicines or surgery can cause these problems. So a variety of medical problems that can affect your appetite, your illnesses, whatever illness you have. Some people have multi illnesses. The medicines or the pharmaceuticals and the surgery can all cause these problems. Now, many people that become frustrated when they know that they need to eat to get well, like certain foods that they eat, or juicing a certain food, or eating a certain color. If you're eating like if you were with us a few weeks ago, we talked about all the different polyphenols. We talked about all of the different phytoesterols and so forth. We had just a lot of things that we talked about. So remember the beta carotene and the alpha carotene, all of those, remember the colors go with that, green and red, all of that. Lycopene, like you look at certain, like especially the lycopene is in watermelon, the small ones and the large ones. And all of that plays an important part. Lycopene is important for a woman's heart health and a man's prostate health. Okay, so each of the following sections that I'm going to go through describes a nutrition problem and suggests possible solutions. Not all solutions will work for everyone, so talk with your health care provider. And when I say that, I mean somebody that knows what they're talking about. There are people that do work in professional medical establishments, and they may not be a person that is suitable for your answer. So I would say just because they're in an office and they have on scrubs or something that look medical, make sure that you ask for your PCP, your principal care physician, or you ask for a nurse practitioner or a doctor's assistant, a physician's assistant. And now you're on your way to getting the kind of answers that you're looking for. And you have some really, really incredible nurses, like Nurse Cheryl Lee. She's incredible. So when we have these wonderful people and you get to know how they take life, and they look at it as an opportunity to make it the best it can be, then you should stay in contact with that person, because you're definitely going to have a constant challenges. Okay, we went over decreased appetite, and I'm going to let's bring Kara back up so we can go ahead and reset, and then we'll continue from here.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Zarif, for that great information. And thank you to everyone that has joined us here in the Mind of Nature. Today's topic is how poor diet affects your medical condition. If you have not already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is Dr. Farid Zarif. Dr. Farid Zarif. Right now, we are streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Instagram. I just want to say hello to a few people over on Instagram. You have Arabic Sweet Princess. Hey, Amira. Good to see you.
Amira.
And we also have My Purpose Production. Hello, hello. Michelle. It's Miss Shell IV. And author Natasha Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning in over on Instagram. Really appreciate you all tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Thank you so much, Dr. Cher, for liking, Lisa, Allison, Mylea. Thank you all so much for showing up and just being a part of this wonderful conversation. You know, Dr. Zarif, you mentioned getting outside, you know, and just being in the sun and, you know, things like that. That's something that I'm learning to do more of, even if it's just going like in the backyard and just being in the sun. And even I've heard about grounding and just taking your shoes off and just putting your feet in on the ground and, you know, in the grass, in the soil, and just being a part of the earth. I've heard that that has really great benefits for the body as well. So I'm just learning those things, and just small things can make a huge difference in the way we our body respond to different things and the things that we do. So that was a great tip, and I made sure I wrote that down so I can keep that on the top of my mind.
That's beautiful, Carrie. That's beautiful. You know, see how many, it's so much for us to learn. And it's great that, you know, I've known this, like, you know, we've been doing this for a while now, and you can see that just by using some of the things that we've been talking about can improve our lives. We're living that life. And I know from the reports that you give me about you, you're definitely making some really inroads to a healthier body, and you're not freaked out about any of the instructions. You'll just say, "Hey, is this right? This is does this work? Would this be something good for me?" And then you take action.
Yes.
And that's incredible.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Working on it.
Well, we'll get back to let's get any questions. Any questions, Care?
Let me
Do you
see.
have any questions from anybody?
No questions, but they're just well, we have some comments here from Malia. Says, I can't wait to sleep good again. And also she's saying I feel good every day sober. So that's great.
That is great. And Malia, with all the things that, I won't mention all the things that you've been through, but you are an incredible. You're just a trooper. I mean, you face things and then you overcome things, and I'm like, you leave my jaw like, what? So it's looked like a thumbnail, didn't it? You know, it's like you see that kind of fortitude that you have, and then you still take time to help other people, and you love animals. You just incredible, especially your dogs. That's like really incredible. You're just a really incredible individual, and that's what we're about. We're talking about people, like once you start making better choices, you become a different person, extraordinary person, and that also yields an extraordinary experience. You see, so it's really important that we do better, and the only way that we can do better is we can take our time to study more, to make sure that you're listening to our shows so people can come. We don't, as you see, we're not, you know, we count numbers like for views just like everybody else. We want people to acknowledge us just like everybody else. We want you to share with everybody just like everybody else. But we know that with this share, this won't be just some gossip or some entertainment. You'll be actually sharing information that you may help somebody to improve their life or save their lives.
Yes. Absolutely.
So this is something that we definitely have to keep in mind. So we're not here playing around. We could be doing other stuff. I'm sure Kara, she can be doing other things. I can be doing other things, but we're here for you. And we really want you to hear this. Now, here of late, I've been getting many invitations to churches, and I'm happy as can be. Why? Because we have over in, for instance, the South Central, not really, this is where that area that used to be called South Central, the hood. In that area, in a 4-mile radius, there are over 6,000 churches. 6,000 churches. And there aren't but a few that I even know of that even bring up the conversation of health. And when they do bring up the conversation of health, right when they break or get ready to eat something, they're back to eating what they've always eaten. So I want to be a part of the solution of that. I don't want to be this guy with, I have a format to say what I want to say, and I say of derogatory things. That's not our thing. And CARE definitely doesn't do that. And so, we really want you to get this and understand that the healthier your body is, the better chance that you have of overcoming any disease and also lowering the risk of these diseases. So as we continue here, I want to first of all make sure that Kara, is there anything that you want to add before we go on?
Just one thing here, just in the comments. Allison Gento, my dad. He said, "Thanks for all the information. It will help me make some serious decisions moving forward." And that is what we want to hear. That's what we love to hear. Thank you so much, Dr. Zari, for that.
Yeah, that is my pleasure. Yes, Mr. Gento is, that's my number one dude. Don't talk about me. Remember that. What's her name? Benita Betrayal.
Oh, Benita Betrayal, right? Yeah.
Don't talk about Mr. Alice. Don't talk about it. Yeah. Don't do it. So thank you very much, Mr. Gento. Really appreciate that. And man, I tell you, we appreciate your support and being here. And your support does make a huge difference. Thank you so much. The other thing I want to talk about as far as the solutions of you, let me see if I can get what I'm looking for here. Nausea. So, all right. There you go. So I'm going to talk a little bit about those of you that are still you're eating and you're getting heartburn, for instance. And heartburn can occur for many reasons, including overeating, eating too doggone fast, eating certain foods, taking medicine, or as a result of surgery. That's what you can get heartburn from. Now, choose from which one you think that would be something that's causing your heartburn. So some of the solutions to heartburn is to avoid the foods that have caused heartburn before. So when you're eating those fried foods, highly seasoned foods, alcohol, chocolate, and beverages, all of that. And when I say chocolate, I mean when you are eating milk chocolate. The dark chocolate is actually healthy, and it doesn't have some of the saturated fats. And just read the label, because they have a lot of chocolate companies now that have healthier dark chocolate out. Also, what can also cause, or you want to avoid so it doesn't give you any heartburn, are the beverages that contain caffeine, and that's coffee, tea, and soft drinks. They put the caffeine in it, so everybody wants to have fun. Everybody wants to drink and have fun, eat and have fun, but they don't want to take care of themselves because they don't have time to think about the value, think about their wonderful lives, the gift that they are to other people. just want to have fun. Now, if you eat 5 to 6 smaller meals a day instead of 3 large meals, decreasing the amount of food in your stomach eases digestion and it reduces the chances of heartburn. See, when a lot of people glut and they're eating with all you can eat, you are out in Vegas and you in one of those beautiful kitchens and everything you can think of is there, and you start just eating because you can. It's included in the price, and you just overdo it. And that can cause digestive problems, especially heartburn. Now, remain standing or sitting for at least 2 hours after eating. You see? So that can cause heartburn. So if you just ate a lot of food and you remain standing, you ate it standing up, or if you were sitting down eating and you stay in that same position, you can cause heartburn. So the ideal way to eat foods are to eat foods that you can break down as you are taking a walk. If you're so lucky to be able to take a walk after a meal, oh, it's so wonderful. Some people are used to going to sleep. So it's like, let me hurry up, I'm sleepy now, because again, that energy, their bodies are now starting to break down the foods, and we want you to start exercising. Just move. Don't even look at it as exercise, because when you look at it as exercise, then that equals work to you. Okay, here are other things that you can do. Brush your teeth after meals and snacks. Good oral hygiene helps you to control your bad taste. Ask your doctor or your dietitian if using a certain mouthwash would help. Now, all mouthwashes are not healthy. Some of that stuff is, you can throw on a tire and it'll look brand new after it's been worn down for 3 years. So, that stuff, those things can be very dangerous. And the floss that you use, and maybe even if the toothpaste, they are in the toothpaste and in the actually the toothbrush, there is a PFAS. A PFAS means the perfluoroalkyl substances. You probably haven't heard of it yet, but write it down. I bet you'll hear it, because you know how it is when we talk about it, it pops up on TV or somewhere that you're listening. PFAS. PFAS. It is an epidemic now with these are also called forever chemicals. And the forever chemicals have been formed by people. Man has used all these chemicals in foods and in the earth, and the different chemicals that comes from maybe car paint, and the chemicals that come from making rubber, all of those chemicals that combine after all these years, and the earth cannot break them down. It used to be something that is, something that you can biodegradable is called. If something is biodegradable, we know that after a few years, it will return to the earth. But you got things now that resist that breakdown, and it can be very, very dangerous. So write that down. PFAS is in the water. It's so widely spread that the latest information about the PFAS is that it can destroy your water if you drink too much of it, and we need special filters now, because the 5-stage filters, that's the latest information, but now you have a PFAS filter, and this helps to remove pharmaceuticals as well as other PFASs. So look out for that. I'll keep in mind that we need to talk about that so that you can get the proper filtration unit. The other thing, nausea is also called when you're nauseous and you get up and, the so-called queasy stomach. That can definitely be a part of poor diet. Here are some of the solutions when it comes to the foods: is to eat dry foods when you wake up. Eat dry foods when you wake up and every few hours during the day. And that is the nausea is often worse on an empty stomach, and dry foods can relieve some of the discomfort. Dry foods would be something like pretzels. They have all of these things at Sprouts and Trader Joe's and other places. They're still so-called ultra-processed foods. Some of these are still, you have to still don't get comfortable. But the pretzels and the plain crackers or cookies, the dry cereal and toast, all of those are considered as dry food. So if you're getting up with that sick stomach, another solution would be drinking liquids on an empty stomach. Can add to the feeling being nauseous. So if you are drinking liquids on a empty stomach, that can add to the problem. But if you're drinking those same liquids and you're sipping those liquids and you're taking your time before about 30 minutes to 60 minutes after eating solid foods, this may help too, especially if it has like the enzymes, like you have lemon, and lemon has an enzyme to help break down the acidity, helps to break down proteins. And then you have carbohydrates, which just like it sounds, it breaks down the carbohydrates. And then you have lipase. Lipase helps you to break down lipids. See, so this body that you have, I kid you not, you have one of the greatest gifts on the planet. It got to be the greatest gift on the planet, because without it, then you wouldn't exist, and all the other things that we're talking about doesn't matter. Avoid greasy, fried, or spicy foods. These foods take longer to digest, and they make you feel bloated and uncomfortable and more nauseous. So when you feeling nauseous and you're asking for a piece of fried chicken, oh yeah, just give me just slice up a little steak and put a little mashed potatoes on the steak, you're asking for more problems. Now, if you the smell of food bothers you, then you avoid foods with unpleasant or strong odors. Eat somewhere other than the kitchen. Get out of there. If that's causing a problem, you have to eat somewhere else. You might have to go out on the patio or eat on in the front on the porch, depending on where you live. Okay. Fresh ginger is sometimes helpful in reducing nausea. I have ginger almost every day, but I don't overdo it. Now, if you have like any type of cramping and griping, eating just a slab of fresh ginger and putting it in your mouth and start chewing it, it will start to take an effect on your your nausea right away. Okay, so you eat. Some people actually they don't suggest that you eat the fresh ginger if you're taking an anticoagulant, and that's like blood thinners, like Coumadin, for instance. And those medicines, like another one is warfarin. Actually, warfarin and Coumadin are like, they're the same thing with a different name. When you have like the general name and then you have the brand name. So be aware of that too. Also, do not eat the ginger prior to surgery. We'll get back into that again. There's a lot of good things about ginger, but you should also be aware of the downsides. All right, how are we doing here? Okay, we just got a couple of minutes to go here. I am going to go back on stage here and bring back the wonderful Care. All right, she'll be here in a minute. So with these things, let me see if I can add Care to the stage. There you go. All right. Care, we're just look like it's time to wrap up already. That's the fastest hour ever. I knew it.
Yes, it does go by really fast. I was just typing a message, so I couldn't get back to my buttons. But yes, great information, Dr. Zarif. And thank you for that information on ginger, because I know sometimes people may feel like the natural things can't interrupt the medicines that you may be taking. And it's good to know that there has to be that balance of natural and just knowing what you're taking in as well. So thank you for that. Just all the great PFAs, forever chemicals. Now I just have questions. One of them is in regards to the PFA, the forever chemicals. Now you're saying that there's a filter, and you'll give more information about that. But I mean, just that information alone, I know we're looking at the time and knowing that we appreciate everyone's time, but that is something that I think you should definitely do a separate video on,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to, Care. The PFASs.
PFAS, right? Yes.
Yes. So, yeah. So it is and the perfluoroalkyl substances. That's what they are. And they're the forever chemicals, just like you said. And this is really important that we stay up on it, because see, the world is changing. It's constantly changing. And people that's still stuck on yesterday aren't going to be talking about what's happening today. So I love that you even pointed out that there's something that we need to talk about. Thank you for the hearts and the thumbs up, y'all. That's yay. Now I love those. So are there any other questions, Care, or anything else that you want to mention?
No, that was, I mean, it was just great information. I just have a lot of notes that I've taken, things that I've, taken in. And of course, there's always the replay for anyone that came in late. There's always the replay to go back and watch on YouTube, because I know it's a lot of information coming at you really quickly, and we want to be able to get all that information, but we just can't give it all, or Dr. Zarif can't just give it all in that 1 hour that we have. So the replay is definitely the place to be after the live has ended.
Now I can give it to you, but what you gonna do with it?
Oh, study it. Thank you so much, Dr. Zarif.
It's really important. And I know this sounds like a quip, but as what I meant by that also is that, are you going to put it in action?
Oh,
are
yes.
You going to put what you're, put in? Everybody to put in action. And I just want to really thank everybody from the bottom of our hearts for supporting us, because we wouldn't mean anything without you. So thank you very much, everybody. We are just really delighted to have you here. Please continue to subscribe. We're doing good, but we want to do great. So subscribe as much as you can, or get people to subscribe also. And we really appreciate that.
By sharing. Yes, absolutely. Subscribe and turn on your notifications, because, that's one of those things where sometimes you may forget. And it's like, oh man, I forgot. Turn on your notifications and you'll get that information. So again, thank you all so much for joining us here. As Dr. Zarif mentioned, take action on the information that you have learned here today. We are live every Saturday, 8 a.m. PST. So thank you all so much for joining us again. We really and truly appreciate it. Dr. Zarif, anything else you have?
Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week at 8 a.m. PST. Have a great day and peace.